Okay, let's talk about 2025. This was the year Meta didn't just tweak its apps, it completely reinvented itself. We're going to unpack one of the biggest corporate shakeups in recent memory, breaking down exactly how and, more importantly, why Meta decided to bet its entire future on AI.
This quote really hits the nail on the head. It perfectly captures just how dramatic this whole pivot was. I mean, think about it. The company that was built on likes and shares is now all in on personal superintelligence. What does that even mean? It means a powerful, proactive AI assistant for every single one of its users. This was a monumental gamble, and it all kicked off with changing who they were at their core.
And you can literally see the change right here. On the left, you've got the old, familiar Meta logo, the social media giant. And on the right, the new Meta AI emblem. This wasn't just slapping a new coat of paint on something. No, this was a declaration of an entirely new mission. They were moving from just connecting people to actively empowering them with intelligence.
So, what's the engine driving this whole transformation? What's under the hood? Well, it all comes down to one piece of core technology, Llama 4. And this isn't just another update. It's the open source brain that powers Meta's entire AI ecosystem. What's so fascinating here is the strategy. See, Meta didn't just build one massive do-it-all model. Nope, they built a whole family of models. You've got Scout, which is the nimble little guy designed to run right on your smart glasses. Then there's Maverick, the super efficient workhorse for businesses. And finally, Behemoth, an absolute monster of a model that's pushing the very frontiers of AI research. It's this tailored approach with the right tool for every job.
So how do they make models like Maverick so powerful but still so efficient? Well, the secret sauce is this thing called mixture of experts, or MOE. The best way to think about it is like having a whole team of specialist doctors instead of just one general practitioner. Instead of the entire massive model trying to solve every single problem, a really smart router sends your question to the exact small expert model that's perfect for the job. It's just incredibly clever. And this diagram just leaves it out perfectly. Your request comes in, the router takes a look, and then only wakes up the handful of expert models it actually needs. What this means is you get all the power of a gigantic model, but with the speed and the cost of a much, much smaller one. And that efficiency, that's the absolute key to making this whole personal superintelligence idea work on a global scale.
Of course, a powerful brain needs a body, right? It needs a way to interact with the world. With Llama 4 as the intelligence, Meta rolled out a whole new generation of hardware, and the goal was ambitious, to say the least, to create the successor to the smartphone. And here they are, the Meta Ray-Ban display glasses and the Meta Neural Band. Now, this is not just another accessory, this is a whole new computing platform. Meta is betting that this combo, the glasses and the band, is how we're all going to be interacting with AI and the digital world, eventually replacing that glass rectangle we all carry around in our pockets. And the specs are pretty impressive. I mean, at just 69 grams, they're light enough to wear all day without even noticing. The display is sharp enough to read text clearly, the battery life is an absolute game changer, and that price, look, it's premium, for sure. But it's clearly aimed at getting early adopters on board and avoiding the failures of smart glasses from the past. But the glasses are only half the story. The neural band, this is where things get truly futuristic. This isn't a touchscreen. It's not voice commands. This thing actually reads the tiny electrical signals your brain sends to your hand muscles. It's reading your intention to move. So you can interact with the glasses silently, subtly, with just the tiniest twitch of a finger. It's a completely new way of talking to our technology.
So, a new AI brain, a new kind of hardware body, a revolution this big is not cheap. So now let's talk about the fuel for this fire, the absolutely staggering amount of money Meta committed to make all of this happen. $70 billion. Let that sink in for a second. That was the projected capital expenditure for 2025 alone. This isn't just a budget, it's a massive statement. It's Meta telling the entire market, we are all in, and we will outspend anyone to build the future of AI. And to really put that number into perspective, that $70 billion projection was an 84% increase over the previous year's average. This wasn't a gradual ramp up, it was a vertical leap, a huge investment mostly focused on building the massive data centers you need to power these AI models. This slide really gets to the heart of the gamble. The risk? Well, it was obvious. You're burning through an insane amount of cash, which is going to crush your profits in the short term. But the reward? Oh, the potential reward was monumental. to own the next major computing platform from top to bottom, and finally, break free from the control of Apple's and Google's app stores. So that brings us to the grand strategy. When you put all the pieces together, the AI, the hardware, and that mountain of cash, the ultimate goal becomes crystal clear. Meta wasn't just building cool new products, it was architecting an entirely new platform. The whole evolution was planned in 3 stages. First, you start with simple reactive chatbots. Then you move to proactive agents that can actually do tasks for you. But the final destination, the end game, is the personal OS, a layer of intelligence that understands you, anticipates what you need, and deals with the digital world on your behalf, without you ever having to open a traditional app again. And what's Meta's biggest advantage in all of this, their ace in the hole? Distribution. They have a direct line to nearly 4 billion people through their existing apps. They can roll out this new technology at a scale that their competitors can only dream of. This slide just sums up the AI arms race so well. You've got 3 totally different playbooks. You have OpenAI with its closed, proprietary models. You've got Google, which is leveraging its massive dominance in search and Android. And then you have Meta, playing a completely unique game, combining open source AI with its own custom hardware and that gigantic user base. It's a bold, all-in-one approach. But let's be real, this journey is filled with massive challenges, right? You have to navigate huge privacy concerns, make sure these open source models are safe, deal with the environmental impact of all those data centers, and, this is the big one, convince millions of people to actually buy and wear a pair of $800 smart glasses. The road to success is definitely not guaranteed. And yet, the source analysis we're drawing from comes to this incredibly powerful conclusion. Despite all those hurdles, the sheer audacity and the massive scale of that 2025 pivot, it worked. By 2026, Meta had successfully repositioned itself. It was no longer seen as a social media company, but as the principal architect of the entire post-phone era of computing. Which leaves all of us with a final, really critical question to think about. This whole vision of personal superintelligence, it promises to empower each of us in these incredible new ways. But does it also risk creating a new kind of technological dependency, one that's far deeper and more intimate than even the smartphone? That's the question we're all going to be answering as we step into this new world.